Hello, folks. I hope you're doing outstanding. And I thought about the program this evening, and I really think you're going to enjoy it. The plan is I'll be putting on some more or less videos that I've taken throughout the past. I have a complicated story myself, and my belief is that we all do. And these stories matter because they give so much insight into what is happening, what matters. Our experiences, they matter. I want to say welcome to the program. It is AmericanMantics. I am your HappyHealer lover, and you better believe I care about you. You are part of my family. I will never forget that. That is an always must be kind of thing that'll never go away, so you can count on that. Yes. I think it's so important to realize that we're together in this mission, the mission of life and the experience of life. So let me start out saying hello once again and welcome. I'm going to go ahead and join you online here so that we can do some participation on chat. If you want to ask any questions pertaining to anything that we're going over, I welcome that. Completely transparent in that way. In fact, I think it's helpful to ask more questions and just to be more sincere about what you're out to learn and what we can share together, because this is very important stuff. And the thing about, and I talk about great hell a lot, because the thing about great hell is what it does is it makes light of the things that are actually very important. And it does it in a way that there's no time for this. Let's focus on more serious things, but this is serious. And the idea is people matter. They have purpose and value, and if you just mow over that, I don't think that's really what God Almighty wants. I don't think that's fair to the actual purpose and value our Creator has instilled in us, is what I mean to say. And I don't know, is that a bit loud? So I'm coming on here now. You guys are fantabulous. I love you guys. I'm so proud of you. I think you're great. Hello, hello. So, what we're going to be showing this evening is I'm going to give you a little bit of a background in the story of your Happy Healer and what has been going on, because there's so much to it. There is so much to it. Let me turn the music down just a little bit here. I don't know if you can hear it. I hope you can. Either way, it doesn't matter. This story is going to hopefully touch you. It's my story, and like I said, we all have one, and that's what our community is about, because it's important to share what we're really all going after. There's so many passions that are built in that, and that's what makes life amazing and worth living. I can't tell you about the passions that I've developed through happy healing, and that's the same energy and rules and system that has developed AmericanMantics. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with you so much and what these experiences mean and how they have shaped me, because together we are in this. And so welcome. It's also about so many of us, we come together with the belief that God Almighty is most important. We realize that, so let's, if we can, open in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, please watch after everybody, these wonderful folks who are, in the way I see it, part of my family. Watch after them, love them. Let's all continue coming together, growing and developing in new ways that you would see fit for our creation. I want to see so much happiness true to the will of your desire. I pray for all the people listening that they understand how important they are. That's what matters to the heart, is because you just sometimes get the feeling people don't realize how important they are, and yet they're so incredibly important. And oh Lord, and you can hear that thunder going, and we're going to be talking about that power too. And thank you. Amen. Thank you. Appreciate that. God bless you, and just continue to really think about what it means to come together. So if you haven't noticed, today's a little bit different, and that's sort of what you'll get with your Happy Healer. On some of these days, I'll use a different format in order to share what we're talking about, and of course, the things that we're talking about will come out in a variety of ways. That's the way I have always done it, and it's always been effective for me that way. And I intend to grow, of course, but this is my predicament. Going back a few years ago, there's really just no other way than to address what was going on. And I just knew that things were not as good as they could be. And if you even go back before that, I lost my mother, I lost my father, and just recently I lost my oldest brother. And before that, in 2017, I lost my second oldest brother. And just so much pain and suffering. I understand that suffering, and I know that that can't be what is the point of life. We have to be able to really hang on to life. People matter so much. And so it's starting to rain here, and that's quite okay. But, you know, when you're your Happy Healer, and as just saying, things change a bit in the way you live because of circumstance. And circumstance happens. And that's life. And that's just what we're talking about. And it goes back into why we matter so much. And I just got to keep an eye that this camera doesn't get wet here. But yeah, that's my commitment to what's going on, to the story of us. And it goes back well before several years ago, but even before that. And the idea was always about realizing that pain and suffering, and recognizing that this can't be what life is, that we can't accept people's lives to be so horrible and to feel so alone at times. And I feel like I've been incredibly lucky at the same time that I've been through a lot of experiences. And yeah, it's raining pretty good here, I'll tell you. So I can give you a little quick look right there. That's looking right outside of Happy Force Mini. I am your Happy Healer lover. And pretty cool. I think we're just fine, comfortable over here. And I have electric in here. Everything's great. It's fine. I've been at this kind of lifestyle long enough to be able to become pretty good at it. And well, it goes back. That's what I'm going to be showing you about today. Let me make sure everything here is working fine. All right. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going to be showing you today is some of what that process has been. It's been pretty interesting, starting back when I sold my home and I bought Happy Force 1. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put Happy Force 1 on and let you guys check it out. This leads up to the outside top hatch. This is my bed right here. How cozy. Goes far back there too, and that's that air conditioner. Oh my god, it feels so good right now. And so here we go. We're just gonna go ahead and pop that open, and we're looking at this Florida sky there. We're just gonna come on up because we want to see how these panels have done with the first trip. Here, we're going to turn on the bedroom light, and this leads up to the outside top hatch. This is my bed right here. How cozy. Goes far back there too, and that's that air conditioner. Oh my god, it feels so good right now. And so here we go. We're just going to go ahead and pop that open, and we're looking at this Florida sky there. We're just gonna come on up because we want to see how these panels have done with the first trip. I'm king of the world. Okay, so here are these panels. And so the next mission on these panels, and you can see this is the condensation from the air conditioner. It's a strong one. And it condensates and it leaks down the side into the gutter, which is very high quality. These are high quality. It leaks to the gutter and then it goes off the end so it doesn't pour down the windows. And this was recently cleaned off by the rain, which makes all these suckers ready to really pump up some energy. And so what I had after the rain is the water kind of settles right here, and so maybe I'll grab some cleaner and clean that down, and because that probably hurts my yield. And the other thing I'm looking at here are the wires, and so I want to get those tidied up, and then that'll be better off. These are all hampered down. You can see how tight they are. I already did that myself. And so if I'm doing this professionally, people charge an arm and a leg and they don't even know how to do it right. And here I'm good with big systems, whereas if you want more, I know how to do that. But if you want to do small, of course, if you can do big, you could do small. Small's nothing from that point, and you know exactly what the different battery capacities can handle. And so there's the fuel down there. It's running. And so I think it's going well. I'm very happy with the outcome here. I put this air conditioner in myself. I had to cut a hole into the metal roof. That's the other thing on RVs. There's nothing to grab onto on the top. On these buses, they're all metal and stainless steel. Even the sheet metal is still something to grab onto. You figure each one of these panels have not just one latch, but 3 latches, and not just 3 screws, but 6 screws, and they're going into actual sheet metal. So my hope is that even going at 70 miles an hour down the road, they're going to be good to go. They're not going anywhere. They're in there, and there's rubber stoppers underneath. It's already rained heavy with these things on, and I haven't had any leaks. And these panels don't leak, right? So it's like kind of like having another roof up there. Yeah, I'm real happy with these panels. And so running down the road, you don't even need the generator on, because the way I have it set up, it pulls its power from the main engine. It charges up the Happy Force One's main generation area, the 800 pounds of lithium. It charges all that up. It charges up the main battery bank, and it'll charge up the generator battery bank, which is only one battery, and it'll charge all that stuff. I mean, that's a beautiful thing if you think about it. And this, what I want to do up here is, now that if you just kind of come over here, you'll see I got quite a bit of space left on this other end. And once that goes down, this is the hatch that leads into the second floor, and then we have the basement underneath. So this is huge, right? And so this is the sun panels. I was going to leave this side bare, where I was going to get walkable panels that I could walk on them. This is not walkable panels, nor would I ever want to. They're beautiful and expensive, nice panels, and they give me power. That's a beautiful gift. I would never mess that up. And I would like to set up like a little area right here that I can bring some gates that lift up so that it's safe, and maybe an umbrella where you can hang out on the top floor here. That's nice, right? You can have a cup of coffee, you come up through the hatch. And so there's a lot that I'm doing with this. This is a land yacht. It's what it is. It's a land yacht. There's so much to this. And so, I mean, you just look down, and it's literally like looking off the side of a damn ship. It's so far down, it's like there's the water way down there. And I'm really proud of what this system has become. I mean, I had all this in my mind when I set out to do it, but now to actually be here and to be benefiting off of it, to be living in it, doing something like this that would allow me to keep a place to live and at the same time be dedicated to the cause. That's how I think. I like to think in nature and benefiting from multiple ways. And remember that I'll eventually get the money to do it. And that is to put graphics on the side of the bus, because that's free advertising and it's huge. I mean, people, this is an eye turner everywhere it goes. People look at this and they're like, oh my God, that's like so amazing. And this is even a very huge opening too. So it's easy to get a lot up there. I mean, I put the sun panels through there, I'm just kidding. But I brought them to the top all by myself. The studio. And then here I have my flag. I love the flag. I like the idea of unity, and you gotta be against, you know, making many mistakes that are going to make judgment upon people, the way it's always been in our country as we rally around our country. And so, I don't know, in some ways it's become an unpopular thing. It shouldn't be. Okay, so she's doing well. This is the energy-based system, and it's going to be so cool. In the living room, I used it a lot more often when I was just, you know, chilling for a bit, trying to wait for some things to come together, put my TV on.
You have a plastic cell phone case, plastic utensils for takeout, your credit card, also stainless steel. I checked, so my water bottle is made of stainless steel, as well as the utensils I have in my kitchen. And then cardboard.
That's just live TV right now.
Pantry right now that is packaged in cardboard. Well, a recent study found that the virus.
That's how you do it, folks. This is home, and it feels like home, and it's large, in some cases, and it's capable. That's what I love. So let's see where our fuel is. Halfway. Wow. Did it stop? Or is it could just still be going. Yeah, it's still going. Takes a while. Can you imagine how empty it was?
And make a Facebook group so that people in the community can make cotton masks. Now she's making a different type of.
Folks, this is looking at Happy Force 1 from the outside here. Just did a lot of great work on her. And as you can see here, we have both of the condenser outside units sitting here. So here's the deal here. I wanted to put them all in the same compartment so that I was not engineering multiple solutions in multiple compartments when actually it was going to be the same need. It could be in one compartment. And so when I eventually set it up so that these side panels can close, there'll be ample air flow within this compartment, and it'll happen through, like I said, engineering that, which means it'll require an in and an outlet that allows air to come in and go out, and it'll require a fan pushing in and a fan going out, or to be bare. I haven't decided. I'll probably start with bare, considering that's more efficient. You really want to get those systems as much breathing room as you possibly can. And so this is Rolling Thunder at this moment. Happy Force 1's Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder would be a great name for this coach, actually. This is sitting on so much power at this point, which was really important for me. I'm an electricity guy. And in here you can see we have an AC generator that produces, and it's off. We don't have to run it to make all this happen. We can run everything with that being off. That's the way I put the system. That's the way I engineered it. So in other words, this becomes redundant, and it also becomes extra. And that's how the systems, when they're put together best, would be put together. You wouldn't want to put together a system that demands you run it in order to have the things you need if you don't have to do it that way. And this is a Prevo bus, so she comes standard with so much that you'd never get from an ordinary RV. And powerful. I mean, these doors alone are like so thick. And so are these doors. That's paneling. This is the door. That's metal. It's getting a bit hot out here, and on the inside it's a cool about 60, possibly 62 degrees at this point. I'm doing a test against the sun. It gets very hot and humid in Florida, and ultimately right now I have 4 AC air conditioners working, including the main AC unit with the bus. So altogether that would be a lot of air conditioning power coming in through that coach right now. So let's say I was helping in a situation, we have coronavirus running around, I had to help medical staff, and they were working in a very hot outside humid area, and people need a safe refuge away from that so they can go and work on their paperwork, command structure, all kinds of things that would require an ability, and that you wouldn't ordinarily have it in, say, some off location like where we are now. But when you pull up Happy Force 1, it comes equipped standard with all that stuff and with redundancy to keep it going under all conditions. It's nice and cool in here. Now, you can hear that humming. It's a lot of power rolling through this coach right now. And we have it on fast idle so that the systems run a little bit quicker, a little bit better. Is by simply flipping this switch, you can hear it. Hear the difference? And that sets that Detroit Diesel Series 60 engine, which this is child's play for that engine. That engine's capable of moving this entire bus and keeping this system rolling. And that's the power of that engine. it can take 80,000 pounds of semi-cargo and roll it up a mountain. So I'm not really too worried about that engine handling this stuff. And then of course we have, I call this little boy, and I call the big engine big boy. And so say right now we're operating with 41 ADC. That's all DC coming into the batteries. So they're actually being charged even though we've got so much going on, and it's just the bus. Of course, we have equipped with the bus to add to its overall electricity ability are the PV array on top, and that's bringing in a kilowatt of power. So it helps offset the various challenges of running so much electricity during peak hours of the day. And so let's say we turn on the engine beneath, and what we'll notice is that all DC will go right on up to insanely high numbers, and all the bus's equipment now, including the bus generator itself, will start charging up these batteries at exponential rates. And there we see it. So now, not only are we operating all of this equipment at the same time, but we're charging at a rate in excess of almost 300 amps at 27 volts, 280 amps. You do the math. That's a lot of electricity going into the system. So let's go ahead and shut this off. It's not needed, and I need to do service on that. And so what that does is now the systems are relying back on the batteries again, and it's finding itself. So you see there's a lot going on, but it's very smart systems. So you see how that number moves? It has a lot of flexibility, and it needs that flexibility in order to operate. And these inverters do all the magic, and they're very expensive inverters because you need that when you have a really nice expensive bus like a Prevo bus and you're incorporating these systems together. They all have to rely on one another, and even the redundancy relies on one another to be dependable. And so it's continuing to charge at a rate of 91 with the main engine off. And so one part of that is that it's really cool in here. Things are really cooking. So when you come back here, you notice that everything is operating at 110%, and it's just like that all the way through. Bedrooms on the other side of that wall. So that's it. I'm your Happy Healer. Your Happy Healer lover. Never forget. So there it is, finally regulated. That's because some of the condenser units had to come back on after everything switched around. And it's all automatic transfer switches. All I simply need to do is turn on, turn off. I really engineered all this properly. It took a while, but I did my homework, and I'm good at it now. I know it backwards and forwards. I'm the engineer to this system. I don't need to, like many people who buy those really fancy coaches that have half of the capabilities this one has. Whenever something goes wrong, they're paying thousands of dollars to get it fixed because they have no idea what is causing it. In this case, we have major capabilities that hardly ever break down because they're the best, and that when something does act up, I'm able to react very quickly to what the problem is. And that's it. Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed that. I am so happy to have been able to share so much wonderful, important. I hope you liked that. That was Happy Force 1. And I put a lot of work into Happy Force 1. And you could tell that was dated. Well, since then, there's been changes, and that sort of goes back to how life can be sometimes, which is why it's so important that we prepare ourselves and rely on the good Lord and pull together and show love and show the truth, because a lot of people are having a lot of hard times in various ways, and it shouldn't be that way. There should be a more logical approach, because, well, people matter. That's the whole point of AmericanMantics. If you're asking what is the point of AmericanMantics, it's because people matter and they're not being treated as though they matter in society, folks. It's the truth. It's not pleasant, no. No, not by any means. But it is the truth. We have to recognize that truth, because if we do, then we get to fix it. And this is a mighty grave truth to recognize. We've got basically opportunities. That's the way I see it. That people matter enough to get it right. And that honesty matters. And honesty matters. Good people, sweethearts. That there's so many of them. I'm not the only one, right? Or am I? Am I the only sweetheart? I hardly think so. I just think to myself, we can have so much better, and we matter. I know you matter, and I know I matter. And imagine that the amazing gift that we are to one another, that something can happen, that people are dying, and you can lose a friend, somebody who knows you and loves you. And we live in the world of the energies. And I'll remind you of that a lot. And I'm quite scientific in that way, because quite frankly, the power of God is so robust and so complicated. It makes perfect sense that when we see the scientific world, everything that's being expressed is an expression of the will of our Creator. And it's as simple as that. And it's about love. We have a loving Creator. Don't you ever forget how loving of a Creator that we have. That's what I remind myself when times are the toughest, and when the situation is the roughest. I know it's going to take extreme energy and power and love and care and consideration to stop and allow what matters to matter. And That's something everybody can do. For all the things that we can do, that's almost something we must do. I want you to think about the idealistic approach, not necessarily the typical negotiations that we see. And it's only the outcome of negotiations that people experience. It's not really tuned to a matter of their needs so much. Not in a proactive way. Not in a way that cares. And that idealistic world, what would it look like? Like, is that even possible? And that's when you get to the crux of it. You realize you either believe in the power of God Almighty. We have a wonderful Creator. And you believe in that power. And the power that He can build. He can build. Yeah, we break down. And we falter at times. But we have a building Creator. And to have faith that love does matter in this world. And that when it's expressed, you were a product of its creation. It's just that simple. God Almighty is an almighty lover. It is by far the greatest power. And it's a humble force. It's a force. It's what you do with people you love in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't have anybody in your life. You have to negotiate and show you care. How many people are doing that? It has to matter. And there is a grave matter of concern right before us. It's the question of what's possible. It goes back to that also important idealistic world. And I don't want to hear about we can't come together and see to a better world. We don't have another choice. I've done that math. This insanity, greed, and greed hell, and every man for himself, and selfishness, that doesn't lead to a better society. It doesn't take us to the promised land either. That's like taking us right off a cliff. That's what that does. That's why you know a force by what that force is, by what it represents. And the force of greed represents death. Very true. And I'm going to be breaking this stuff down in ways that can really penetrate. I'm going to be showing the connections to the very markets that decide how we live, and just how woven in this energy that is the dark energy that we need to get out of our lives in order for us to have a better outcome. I believe this with all my heart. That is faith. That's love. And that's to believe in a better outcome and a better possibility. And you see what greed is taking us down. It's disunity and hell. It's pain and suffering. It's no compassion through the process. It's a bunch of mocking devils, which I love getting my hands on some mocking devils, because I got some real faith, and I know how to make those mocking devils fall and melt away in their embarrassment. And they're so self-conscious because that's why they do that nonsense in the first place. These mocking devils, right? They like to laugh. They like to make fun of what's really very important. And so that's what that force is. And the devil, I'm sorry, you call a spade, right? This is what this force is. There is no other two ways about it. When you look at the outcome of what it does and its inability to care for itself even, and you see the death that surrounds it, the systems that every system, and it's before you can even have many governmental systems and institutions that are successful. First, you have to get to the story of enticement, what people are moved to action in order for. And in history, it's always been greed. That's, it's not a bad thing. It's just, through my study, what I think it's quite obvious. And that greed has directed pretty much a lot of actions. And, it's why the stock market today is considered to run on greed and fear. It's moving into us in a way that doesn't need to be there. It's certainly not in a more, in a society that's expanding and growing outward and becoming more advanced. And that's what I think people want, is advanced citizenship. They want life to be easier, and they expect it to be because they understand that times have gifted us out from nature itself. It's a gift from our Creator that is the net summation of human brilliance. All the many new inventions and old inventions that have shaped the way we've grown. But really, it all comes down to the world we live in, the creation itself, what God gave us. Its majesty is amazing. It's magical. It's absolutely a stunning world. And that's why I like science, because I get to peer deeper into God's amazing world. I love that so much. It's so amazing. And there's so much to see there. And that's the beauty of creation. And when you see that, you become instilled and filled with hope. You know it is possible. You know the people. They're filled with the same love you are. That love is powerful. It's the same love that guided our creation. One thing virtually all religions agree on. They can't agree on anything else almost. But one thing, that God is the essence of love and truth. And if you just take those two elements and you apply that to life, you'll always care about every endeavor, every venture, every prospect, every experience that you ever have. You will care, because you will be a care bear, like your HappyHealer lover is. And that's what loving is, and that's what living is. Because the more you care is the more you're alive. That's that life energy. And that life energy, it runs through you and builds, and it becomes stronger. And what you thought you weren't capable of a moment ago, now you are much more capable, and you can feel that energy working through you. Yeah, I believe in the power of the Holy Spirit and I believe in people. I think that they're lovers at the heart of it, just like me, your HappyHealer lover. And when you go through some of these at the end of it, the way I see it, we're all alone in this world in one way. And really it's like the complete opposite of the truth. But that's why we have to become enlightened. When we don't understand, the number one thing that feels like the truth is that we're all alone. And that loneliness is a driving pessimism that allows people to do things that continue to build on what I ultimately call the energy of greed hell. There's a certain greed that runs through. It's an energy. And it causes a certain insanity in humanity. Their willingness to do anything for success and ambition and drive and watch out. Now, that's not always bad, but that's where you start to see where corruption becomes to enter the picture. And when that happens, that's when it gets really rather difficult. Because now you've crossed that line. And then there's going to be other lines you cross as a result of crossing that line in the first place. That's how these things work. They add up. So people become corrupted in greed hell. That's what greed hell's good at. It corrupts people. It's the force and energy of death. It's detestable. Everything about greed hell is detestable. It's what makes doing some of the most horrendous actions okay, completely okay, but absolutely horrendous. I mean, come on. A society that cares is a society that wins and loves and carries on. And to say you have God in your country, I think you also have to have love then in your country. And America is most certainly has God in our country. We're a country of lovers. And ultimately speaking, that really is our power. And I've seen so many lovers. It's a changing phenomena. We see people changing all the time. That the youth, in many ways, are so fantastic in their disposition and care, to give credit where credit's due. And that compassion matters. But insight must also matter. Understanding what's possible in a world where you are coming together, working for a common goal. We haven't had, and one of the viewers last week mentioned that, and I think his name was Jim, mentioned that we don't have a common mission that we're all focused on. And a lot of people are eager to be a part of that sort of brotherhood and coming together. And they want it to mean something. And they want people to care more. And they're craving that. And I think the future is ultimately becoming more of that. You see it throughout COVID, I think a lot of the companies, the way people are working more from their home, there's an expectation that the quality of life matters. And you don't want to go back from that. That's like a home run. That's a win. You want to take that win. Anything that gives you the ability to have more empowerment over your study, your love in this world to express and to grow and to be and to live and to experience, you know, that's what you should be all about. And that's a major gift. And I think that time is a gift, and that people often don't have enough time to pursue the truth or to pursue what matters most. So there's a lot of these ways people fall off the bandwagon, and drugs is one of them. Rampant drugs. And I think everybody knows somebody who's had problems with drugs, including myself. And I don't know if I've dodged many bullets at all, actually, but I do know that I'm healthy and whole today, and I'm a lover, and that we're focused on what's great, and I've done great things in my life. And there's you gain a lot of perspective, and I think that means something. People who've been through those experiences, they relate with that. People who haven't been, they can appreciate that. And you know, and they just go so deep. What can I say? They're important, and that's sort of what this video is about, to talk about how important you are and your experiences are, and that all of our experiences are, and that central to AmericanMantics and the system that it is, that we're comparing against the way people conduct themselves, like Meet Kevin in our Unchecked Greed series that I'm sure you're just going to love. It's outstanding, actually. And compare the difference between what's possible versus what is. And we live in a very pessimistic society, and greed doesn't leave anything on the table in the world of taking. So we're having a hard time making progress. Greed is just so damn greedy, out for itself, and corruption is really running the world, even in America, and we could do so much better. And America's great. We actually are way less corrupt than most places. And let's put it like this: by the standard of greed hell, America is doing A+, because the kinds of faults that I would hold against it are a matter of higher order, of higher concern. And I think that we do have to become better. I think that if we expect better, we have to become better. And that's not anything other than just caring more. So it's not like you've got to change unless, caring is a natural thing, I think. People, when they don't care, a lot of that is fear. And greed hell breeds fear in order to survive. People are always strutting and comparing and trying to jockey for position and trying to put out their enemy. It's not about teamwork and growth, and just they're two totally different energies. And that's really what this is about, and how much more effective AmericanMantics, the coming together of our country, our nation, is a good plan, really, if you think about it, right? Americans loving and building and growing, that's what we're about. And God bless, I think, every person who wants the best for one another. That's very reasonable, isn't that? I would say support your neighbors, and support shall come your way. And that's sort of the HappyHealer belief, that be a lover like your HappyHealer is, and problems will be solved, because care won't let you down. And I don't think that anything less is going to succeed. I think that's what it's going to take in order to be, if you want to be scientific about it, to become a type 1 civilization. Everything else is taking us down really questionable ways, and I think it's something that's spoken about a lot. And I have actually some material I'll be sharing with you guys in, I believe, the next episode that details some of the connections. And I like showing that because it's powerful. Although, at the end of the day, for a lover like me or anyone so focused on doing good work, honest work, it's about how genuine we are in that attempt, because that's how we're going to be able to best do what's required of us and bring more people on board. And that's what AmericanMantics is. It's getting to the crux of what matters, so that, let's put it like this: a unity that can suffice is a unity that's worth building and worth working for. And I look at China, and I'm just like looking at the future and saying, is this misery that's coming, do people really want that? It's unbelievable. Right now, we have some power and we have some brilliance. Right now, let's use our love. Let's let it work. Let's overcome this now. Let's use our unity. Let's show what American freedom looks like when it's unified and powerful. Let's see what that could do compared to what is up against our happy future. And that's my view. And I think that people are genuinely concerned about this also. I see it. And so that's why I bring it up on the show. And what time is it now? So it's almost an hour, which is about when we like to go for about an hour on these. And there's going to be a lot of groundbreaking stuff coming up soon, so you're going to want to tune in for that stuff and be a part of the community and share, the best and brightest that you can muster up. Share about President Trump and share love and continue to care about one another, that we all matter and have purpose and value in this life. And I think that's important, because when you start there, then you realize how important it is to treat other people with the value that they deserve to have. And that is what creates a better world. And it's worth the effort. I don't think you could ever go wrong fighting for a more loving and happy, united, safer, reasonable, stronger, focused world. I can't see how anybody would want any different. This is where we are empowered. We'll never be empowered in this weak place where we are now. No. We've got to become more love-driven, because that's the unity force. You don't get to have a real lasting unity unless you're with God's force, love. And it's a good force to be with. And it's, when you have the ability, it's the natural thing to do. We are natural lovers as it is, and we have the ability. So now there's a lot of like forsakingness going on, and you could see it reverberating through humanity. Humanity knows it deserves better, and it's kind of pissed off it's stuck with what it has. And so it's our job to fill out and to grab the reins, because we need to create and build. We need to build the world of abundance. That world is not going to build itself. And one Elon Musk is not nearly enough, and he's focused more on crypto right now than anything else. And so greed is a powerful force. It really takes people off what's important. It sure does. And so that's why I always keep my eye on it. And I know it's worth fighting for. Last night I had a dream about my brother. He passed away a few months ago. Poor guy. He didn't deserve to go. He should have lived. Yeah, he was making great plans. I'm a 42-year-old man, and he's 47. Well, and he was a lover. He cared so much about life. He was an artist, and he would draw like you've never seen before. He was such a good artist. He was so smart, so talented, so caring. And he read up on history. He was brilliant. He knew all about the Roman history, and he read up on all of our family tree information. He knew about all that stuff. I mean, my goodness. He was the eldest brother. Eldest. So he had experienced everything else that all the other kids never experienced. That was my mother, my father. Excuse me. That was my mother, my father, and my two brothers from before I was born that had passed away. And, well, there's three actually, but that's how Lucky got his name, because he was lucky to live. From the very get-go, it was never an easy struggle for my mom and my dad. It was never an easy struggle for my siblings. And I seen Lucky, and I see him in a way that's like as a spirit energy, not just his flesh. And I see everybody like that. I see that as empowering. That doesn't have to die. That won't die. If you remember who you are, you beat death, because your spirit energy never dies. All that dies is your physical body. So that's powerful. And I think about how hard he wanted to live. He wasn't out to die. He was trying to live. He realized that something had happened. He was trying to gain his bearings, but they put a hole in his throat. one he didn't need. But they did that because they didn't believe he was going to survive. They were wrong. We were telling him he's making progress. So, that's how this came about, the trachea, which caused complications, including he acquired a pneumonia, and it was his second one, on top of having to fight off sepsis, which is very serious. And it's a blood disorder. And all of his so healthy organs were shutting down because the sepsis. And it went back to because he acquired this pneumonia that they had to stop the life-saving medication that was working on dealing with his pneumonia because of the hole that they put in his throat that he never needed in the first place. And we begged him not to do, but then that they rushed because they believed that he was already in a terrible situation, that he wasn't coming out, that he was brain dead. They were wrong. And I'll be showing that too on AmericanMantics, because this is what we all experience in this life. There's no reward for that. Hell, there's just death and misery. And we deserve so much better. And that's what I think of. And so that's why I'm sharing this story. And there's so much to it. Like I said, what's built your happy healer, what came about when your happy healer lover came about, that wasn't just some crazy dorky thing out of the side or something. I don't know. I'm not a clown. This is because of a deep spiritual love and a respect for people and care and drive and energy and recognition of the power of that energy. And it'll be interesting. Think about it. We're in Happy Force Mini now, and this show will be consistent Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Every single time. You can count on that, and things will improve. I'm pretty good at this, actually. And 7 p.m. every single time. Whether things are ready or not or whatever, I'm coming 7 p.m. because I believe that's really important, that you need to be able to count on what time I'll be here for you. And I put it like that because I mean it like that. For you. I intend on being here for you. That's so important to me. That's my life's purpose to realize, because this is my deal myself. I'm so interested in making a difference in people's lives. That's my life's work. That's what I'm interested in. That's because we matter, and quite frankly, it'll always be that way for me. I want to get to that work and stay getting to that work. I don't ever want to stop doing that work. So the only thing that gets in the way of doing that work is life, right? Think about it. And that's with any passion that you have. And I talk about the LIVEcast brands of passions, which, and I think we all can relate with this, is how we can have many different passions that we care about, and that each one of these are a gift from our Creator, because there's something that we can show love for and interest in that keeps us happy about. That is that almighty gift. That's what being alive is. That's what being happy is. That is what you've got to thank your happy Lord for. And that's just more of it. And it's actually something that empowers your ability to recognize the advanced living that comes with people understanding and recognizing one another's value. So what I want to do is wrap things up. We're about 10 minutes over right now. I love you guys. I care about you all. You're part of my family. We're going to be having new ways of doing things to grow, and I think we're growing great already, actually. I like the growth, and I think every last one of you matter. And we've already been, like I said, I've been doing this once before. But there's a story about this, and I want you to tune in and pay attention to the story. Some of you might already know, oh, I know what's around the corner, I know what's about to happen. But you know what? There's a lot to this story. And so that'll be one aspect to AmericanMantics. And like I said, it's important because it gives you insight, and insight's so powerful, right? It gives you that also powerful building blocks to help you understand what's happening in the makeup. And I think that has many advantages when you're trying to conquer comprehension with anything. And so, especially when we're talking about AmericanMantics, because it represents so much. Remember, it's the empowerment of happy living. Happy living. This isn't something that you could even promise somebody unless you're dealing with faith, because faith is the only thing that ever delivers on that force of love and happiness. Greed, what greed does, and it's really good at, and I think you can relate with in many circumstances, and I can certainly provide to you, circumstances, and I will, as we go. But greed is just a conniving force. It's always out for itself, and you can recognize certain aspects about that force that, I don't know, it feels like I'm getting thrown off. Folks, we already ran over our time. It's 8:11 p.m. I hope you folks are having the best evening tonight. I just really enjoyed spending some time with you, really. That's what matters most to me. I care about you. And I watch your comments, and I read them, and I love them, and I love you. And I just want us to remember how much we matter to one another. That's what this is about. And that's what the gift is also from our Creator. That gift of love. So share that in abundance. And folks, we'll see you soon. Right back here. Wednesday at 7 p.m. God bless you. Good night.